Hello, hello, hello. How's everybody doing today? Happy Wednesday. I hope you guys are doing awesome. I see you all jumping in here. As you all are jumping in here, just say hello. Just say hello. Say, hey, Jerry. Let me know what your name is, where you are from. We are going to get this thing rocking and rolling. I'm so excited. As usual, we're here on a Wednesday night to talk about your credit. Okay, specifically how to use your credit to travel the world for free or get more out of life. And so we're going to talk about that specifically, okay? Because I want you to get more out of your credit. I want you to have fun while you're on your journey to having perfect credit. And we're going to be doing a lot of that tonight. I've got a lot of tips I'm going to be sharing with you today. So today is all about 6 steps to getting approved, 6 proven steps to getting approved. In fact, everything I'm going to be sharing with you today, I've used personally to take my credit scores from 545 to 765. I just hit 850 about a month ago, and now we're able to get a formula together to help people do the exact same thing. And so I've used my credit to travel. I've used my credit to invest. I've used my credit to build a business. I've used my credit to do so many good things. And honestly, a lot of what I do now, I wish I would have known a lot sooner in life, because if I would have, a lot of my life would have been a lot differently. So as you all are jumping in, just say, hey, Jerry. Just say, hey, Jerry. Let me know where you're from, what your name is, and we're going to get this thing started in about 5 minutes. So I always like to start our live videos off early so that we can just, get familiar with one another, so that we can answer any questions, so that we can just get excited. I hope you all are really enjoying your summer so far. I just came back out from, Hawaii about a day ago, actually. I have like jet lag. And so we were out in Hawaii for over the weekend, and it was absolutely beautiful. It was sunny, it was rainbows, a couple of raindrops here and there. I got a chance to stand on top of a volcano. That's the first, right? We don't see volcanoes or even mountains out here in Chicago. So that was a lot of fun. And the interesting thing is it was not only a lot of fun, but it made me feel alive, right? It made me feel alive, and it made me even happier because I didn't have to pay for that trip out of my pocket. What the way I paid for that trip was I paid for it using my credit card points. So if I know that you're here because you want to learn how to leverage your credit, how to use your credit so that you can take free trips, so that you can get more out of life, so that you can have more fun, right? That's what it's all about. So today I'm going to be giving you 6 ways. I'm going to give you 6 proven ways for you to do that. So you can duplicate my success, so that you can go and get approved for those credit cards. You don't have to worry about getting denied. And even if you do, you'll know how to get out of that. You'll know how to recover from that, because I'm going to give you some strategies, some actionable strategies today that you can use, that you can actually use. And so if anybody's ever been on any of our webinars before, you may already know that this is a no fluff, no BS zone. So you take it to the next level. It's really going to help you go get approved for those credit cards. It's going to help you with taking your credit from wherever you are today to totally mastering it. And so if you're here on this webinar, it's because you want to learn more tricks. You want to learn more tips. You want to learn how to get more out of your credit score, right? You want to be able to walk in the bank, clapping your hands. It's my money, and I need it now. And so I'm going to teach you all how you can do that, right? I'm going to teach you all how you can do that. And so we're going to get this started in a few moments. I'm going to get this set up. And as you all are jumping in, just let me know your name, where you are from, and we're going to get this thing rocking and rolling. So I'm really, really excited, as always, when you all jump in here on a Wednesday evening. And in my opinion, when you're jumping on webinars, you're committing time, right? And people make commitments in 2 ways. They make commitments with their money, and they make commitments with their time. And so you're here because you're committed. You're here because you really want to know, how can I get more out of my credit cards? How can I travel the world for free? How can I get my bank to pay for my vacations? How can I do that? Well, we're going to talk about that today. So we're going to get this started in a moment, my friends. As you all are jumping in, just let me know your name, where you are from, and we're going to get this thing rocking and rolling. Now, I have a couple of things that I'm going to be touching on today. Now, not only are we going to be talking about the 6 proven ways to get approved for a credit card, but I'm also going to give you a couple of credit cards that I think will be great ways to get yourself started. Okay, so if you're new to those cashback cards, if you're new to cards or credit cards that have travel points rewards, I'm going to kind of demystify some of the myths. We're going to talk some actual facts, some strategies that you can use your actual credit cards with. And so as you all are jumping in, hey, Reginald, so nice to see you here. As you all are jumping in, just let me know your name, where you are from, because I really want to know what type of strategies have you already learned with your credit cards, right? Are you already using some tips, some strategies? Are you already getting travel points? Are you already getting rewards? Are you already taking advantage of what the credit card companies have to offer? Because little do a lot of people know, a lot of credit card companies give so much just to do business with you. A lot of credit card companies give you money, they give you cash back, they give you rewards, they give you so much stuff just so you can use their credit cards. And although I am a big fan of credit cards, I don't suggest, of course, that you use your credit cards to charge and never pay, right? What we're talking about today is all about responsible credit card management. And so, hey, how's it going? Hello, Jerry. My name is Algernice. I'm from Michigan. I hope I said your name right. Let me know. Did I say your name right? Hey, Raymond, how's it going? Thank you for joining, guys. I know you guys are creeping in here. And so I always get my webinars off a little early for my early birds. And I'm really excited to see you guys here because we're going to talk some strategies related to your credit scores. We're going to talk about how can you get the most out of your credit cards? How can you travel for free? How can you get the cash back? How can you just live your life on your terms and get the banks to fund it, right? How can you get them to do it for you? Well, we're going to be talking about that today. I was sharing earlier about my recent trip over to Hawaii. We went over to Hilo, Hawaii, and it was absolutely beautiful. I'm talking, it was sunshine, rainbows. I got a chance to stand on top of a volcano and zip line through the waterfalls. And I was a little afraid, actually. I was petrified, but I got through it, right? I made it. I'm back. I'm alive. And it made me think, because I sat there and I'm thinking that I know there are a lot of people that will want to do this too. I know there are a lot of people that would love to take more vacations. I know there are a lot of people that would love for their bank to pay for their family to go on those vacations too. And so I really want to teach you all just some quick strategies on how you can get that started. And so if you've ever really thought to yourself, well, I wonder how does Jerry take all those trips for free? Or how does my friend use those cashback rewards? Well, I'm going to answer some of those questions for you all today so you can really get the nitty-gritty on how it all works, because you can travel for free. You can do it, man. I travel about 6 times a year and I don't pay for it. And so if you're ever wondering, well, how do I do that? I'm going to give you all some strategies. I'm so excited to see you. I've got ATL in the house. We've got Chicago in the house. We've got Philly in the house. I've got Michigan in the house. This is really, really exciting. And so, guys, what I want you guys to do, we're going to get this started, actually. So what I want you guys to do, okay, if you don't know, right, if you've never been to any of my webinars before, you should know that this is a no fluff, no BS zone. It's stuff that I've actually used myself, strategies that I use myself, and strategy that you can use too. So you'll be able to walk away today with actionable tips that you can actually start using today. Now, granted, a lot of what I'm going to be sharing with you today will require that you have exceptional credit. Now, what do I always preach, my friends? I see some people that have been on my webinars before. And so what do I always preach? You want to shoot for 720 credit scores. Okay. Well, I want you all to commit. Whoever, if you're watching this live or if you're watching this from replay land, I want you to commit yourself to getting yourself to 720 plus credit scores. If you're not at 720 yet, you need to start working on getting there, because I can assure you that once you do, you'll start to get the best of the best. You'll start to get the best credit card, that have the best cash back, that have the best points, that have the best rewards, that will have the lowest interest rate, the best deals. That's what I want you to have. I want you to have the best of the best. I want you to get it. But the problem is you're not going to be able to have it unless you commit to having 720 plus credit scores. Hey, Demaine, how's it going? I got Oklahoma in the house. So I want you guys to commit. Are we committing today to 720 credit scores if we don't already have them? Okay, if we don't already have 720 plus credit scores, then I want you guys to commit today to having that. I want you to commit to it because today is really all about people that have 720 plus credit scores. And so if you don't already have it, that is okay. Okay, that's all right. You're gonna work your way there. I know you will. But once you get there, a lot of people wonder to themselves, well, what now? What do I do now? And granted, I was one of those people that had a lot of credit when I was in college and I ruined it. I went and bought shoes and clothes and stuff that had absolutely no value. And I landed myself in over $30,000 of credit card debt twice. And it was a struggle trying to dig up out of it because I didn't know any better. And so I want to teach you all how to use your credit cards for good, how to use your credit cards to have more fun, how to use your credit cards to get more out of life. And so let's talk about that, okay? Now, as you guys are jumping in, you may have been here before, you may have not. And so if you have not, I may want to introduce myself, right? So my name is Jerry Tolliver. I am the CEO of Fly Credit Solutions and your new and favorite credit expert, okay? Now, what we do at Fly Credit Solutions is we help you have better credit, better opportunities, and a better lifestyle. That's what we help you do, because overall, it's more than just having a good credit score. It's more than just that. Yes, it's great to have bragging rights of having good credit. By far, it definitely is. But what I don't really encourage is to use your credit cards to get into debt and to stress yourself out and put yourself in a position that is really hard to get out of. And so that's something that I don't encourage in our space here. What I encourage you to do is I encourage you to use your credit responsibly and how to get more out of it so that you can have more fun, have more money in your bank account, save more money, and just have an overall better lifestyle. And so that's what we do over here at Fly Credit Solutions. We help you have better credit, better opportunities, and a better lifestyle. Hey, Rwanda, I've got Delaware in the house. I've got a lot of people in the house tonight. I'm so happy to see you all here. And so what we're going to be talking about today, my friends, is how you can get yourself approved for those credit cards, okay? If you're trying to get travel cards, if you're trying to get cash back rewards cards, I'm going to show you 6 proven steps for you to do that. Now, before we do, though, I want to know who in the house who's already there, right? Who's already got 720 credit scores, who's already leveraging their credit, or who already has cashback cards or travel cards. Who has it? Let me see it in the comments. I want to know, because it's really interesting that some people don't, some people do, and some people don't know where to start. And so if we kind of get an understanding of who's already here, then we can get everybody all the answers that they need specifically for you on this webinar that's live. Because I have a very, I'm one of those people that I really, really appreciate people's time. That's something that you never get back. And so because I appreciate your time, I'm always, my door is open. We're doing Q&A here. We're learning here. And so what I want you guys to do is I want you to drop in the comments, who's already using credit card points or who doesn't really know where to start, okay? If you're already using it, drop a 1 below. If you're not really sure where to start, drop a 2. Let me see that in the comments below. Hey, how's it going? I've got Greenbelt, Maryland in the house. Now, drop a 1 below in the comments if you're already leveraging your credit for travel points and rewards. Drop a 2 below if you're not really sure where to start. All right, I've got some 2s in the house. I've got some 2s. Okay, sweet. I have them, but I'm a bad financial situation, which has lowered my score. And that's okay. I've been there too. I have been there. I've landed myself in so much credit card debt. It's just embarrassing to even talk about. But what I do know is you can get out of it. That's what I do know. I do know that you can get out of it. So you can get your scores higher, and then we can start leveraging that credit to get more out of it. So, okay, I've got a lot of 2s in the house. So we're going to talk more about how you can get those credit cards, right? The main strategies that you want to use before you get there. Now, the first thing that you guys need to know, first of all, is number 1, you have to have 720 plus credit scores. Now, granted, you can get some cards that if you have a 680 credit score and above, but honestly, if you really want the best credit opportunities, if you want to get the best cards that give you the most points, bonus cash back, then you really want to strive for that 720. 720 is really what a lot of banks consider as excellent credit. And so if you got excellent credit, it's hard for you to apply for a credit card and get denied. Now, granted, Okay, I gotta give you this disclaimer. You can have 720 plus credit scores and still get denied for credit. Okay, you can still have excellent credit scores and still get to not denied for credit. There are a lot of credit card companies, Chase especially, that have these rules. So you have specific rules that you have to follow. For instance, if you've opened up a credit card in the last 2 years, some companies will not approve your credit card application. Okay, let's say that you've missed a payment 2 years ago. You may have to wait 4. Let's say that you've only got 2 years of credit history. Some require 4 to 6. You understand? So it's one of those things where you have to kind of understand first what your credit rating is. Okay. So number one is you have to have some pretty decent credit, 680, 720 and above. So we've already committed right here today that we're going to get 720 credit scores. Now, once you get 720 credit scores, then number two is then you got to start making those applications, right? So you got to start putting in those applications in order for you to start getting approved for those credit cards. But in order for you to know which ones to apply for, you need to know your credit rating. Now, how do you find out your credit rating? Easy peasy. Go online. I highly suggest you do myfico.com. myfico.com. If you go to Credit Karma or any of these other free sites, you're not going to get your true credit score. Now, granted, if you do have a Credit Karma account, they will give you some recommendations for cards that you can apply for. But honestly, you really want to get your true FICO score, because if you get your true FICO score, then you can start making the right choices when you start applying for cards. Now, let's say that you got your eye on a Capital One card. Okay, you got your eye on a Capital One card. It's got sweet bonus points and rewards, and you really want to apply for it. You really want to get approved for it, but you're not really sure, if you're going to get approved. Well, in order for you to kind of skip that, you need to do some research. Okay, do some research, meaning find out which credit bureaus that credit card company is going to pull first. Okay, we actually have a complete database in our 850 Blueprint course that gives you a complete database of all the credit card companies, as well as what credit bureaus they pull as well. So if you're trying to apply for a Capital One card, but you know that they only pull your Experian report, and you also know that your Experian report isn't that clean, then you got some work to do. So it's very, very important that the first thing that you do is you know your credit rating, and you do some research on what credit card companies, what credit bureaus they're going to pull. Okay. The last thing that you want to do is you do not want to apply for a credit card and get denied. Reason being is because it's going to drop your credit score because you have an inquiry in your credit report, and two, it don't make you feel good, right? If getting denied does not make you feel good. And so what you got to do first is you have to position yourself to get the approval first. So step number one, clean up your credit, get yourself to a 720 and above. Step number two, do the research, meaning find out which credit cards you actually want to apply for, and then determine what credit bureaus they're going to pull. So if they're going to pull TransUnion, and you know your TransUnion report is a little shaky, don't apply for it. Let's say it's going to pull Equifax, but you know your Equifax report and your scores are clean, then apply for that card. You see what I'm saying? So it's just about being strategic about the cards that you're going to apply for. Never just blindly apply for credit cards. Never do that, because it's one of those things where you're juggling with your credit score, and that's not something that you want to juggle with. So that's something that you definitely want to consider. Hey, how's it going, Monet? I love seeing you guys here. I've got a lot of twos in the house. So what we're going to do then is, after you figure out what your credit rating is, right? Once you figure out, okay, I've got to get to 720 credit scores. Once you figure out which credit bureaus those credit card companies are going to pull, the next thing you need to determine is what you need to do to maximize your credit score. Now, maximizing your credit score means how can you really get the most points in a short period of time. Now, I have a webinar that I always do. It's called 5 Bulletproof Ways to Rapidly Raise Your Credit Scores. Now, I'm going to give you 5 ways to do this. Step number 1, clean up your credit reports. Step number 2, pay down any of your credit card balances. So if you currently have some credit cards, okay, and you're maxing them out or they're all over 30% credit utilization, then bring the utilization down before you apply for the credit card. Credit card companies are not going to approve your application if you currently have maxed out credit cards. They're not going to do it. Frankly, credit card companies don't want to give money to people that need it. They only want to give it to people that don't really need it, right? They only really want to give it to people that, that sort of kinda or not quite need it. So if you're maxing out your credit cards right now, you're not going to be able to get approved for more. It's just not going to happen. Your best bet is you need to pay down all of your credit cards. Now, most people will tell you pay your credit cards down under 30%. What I highly encourage is pay it under 10%, okay? If you keep your credit card balances below 10% utilization, meaning that you've got a credit card that has a $1,000 balance, $1,000 limit. Keep the balance under $100. If you do that, you will be able to maximize your score. Okay, you'll be able to get the most points out of your score. The next thing you need to know is any late payments gotta go. Okay, any late payments is not a good sign to credit card companies. It's just not. And so if you have some late payments on your credit reports, try to get that cleaned up, right? Try to write a letter, try to give them a call, try to do something. Okay, we have a dispute lab course that can teach you how to do that. But your best bet is to get any late payments removed from your credit reports or let them expire after 2 years or so. After 2 years or so, you'll be able to get approved for credit cards after that. But for the most part, late payments, they're no good, okay? Make sure that you don't apply for too many accounts at one time or don't open up too many accounts at one time. If you open up too many accounts at one time, creditors will think that you are desperate. That's the only word I know how to use right now is credit card companies will think that you're desperate for money. That's what they're going to think. And that's not really a way that you want to be perceived by a bank. And so you got to pay down your credit card balances. Keep your payment history clean, right? Keep your payment history clean. You don't want to open up too many accounts at one time, nor do you want to apply for too many accounts at one time either. Now, here's a little tip, however, okay? The only time I would ever encourage you to apply for a lot of accounts at one time is if you're trying to get approved for something. So let's say, for instance, I call this card stacking, okay? I teach my students this. Card stacking. Card stacking is you applying for numerous credit cards at one time, right? Because what's going to happen is when you're applying for credit cards, you get those inquiries on your credit reports, right? Every single day that you apply for new credit, you get these inquiries on your credit reports. Now, the problem with this is that day by day, as you do that, these inquiries that are reporting your credit will be pulled by other creditors as well. So if you apply for Chase today and then apply for Capital One 2 days later, Capital One is going to be able to see that you apply for that Chase card. So instead of doing it, days at a time, do it in one day. Do it in one day. Okay. Now, this is a premium tip. I usually give this only to my students, but you've got a card stack. You got to do it in order to get the best credit cards with the highest limits. Now, tip to get high limit credit cards. If you want to get $10,000 limit credit cards, if you want to get $15,000 limit credit cards, you have to currently already have a card on your file with that type of limit. Or you need to have a solid credit history. 4 years or more credit history will get you some pretty decent credit. Or you need about 3 or 4 credit cards or more. You really honestly need to have at least $10,000 in credit lines. So if you've got $20,000 in credit lines, you're more than likely going to get approved for a credit card that has a $10,000 limit. So a lot of people always ask me, well, Jerry, I want to get approved for a $10,000 credit card. That's cool. I understand it. You can definitely do it, but it's not going to be something that happens overnight if you've never established credit before. A lot of these travel credit cards, a lot of these cashback credit cards, they're more so for people that have already established strong credit. And so what you're really going to strive for is establishing 2 to 4 years of very solid credit history. No late payments, no collections, okay? Nothing negative on your credit. You've got to have a strong credit history with at least 2 to 3 credit cards. It could be retail credit cards, it could be major credit cards. Overall, you need strong credit history. You need about 21 plus accounts. 21 plus accounts between credit cards and loans. That is considered strong credit history. But if you've never had a credit card before, if you've never opened up a loan before, if you've never paid off debt before, then creditors don't know how to view you. They don't know how to lend to you. And so you've got to kind of position yourself to be like the bank. Think like the bank. And so the bank is not going to approve you if you've never had credit before. They're not going to give you a $10,000 credit card before if all you have is a $500 credit card limit on one credit card right now. It doesn't happen that way. And so you've got to build your way up in order to get there. Now, I understand that right now your credit may be a little shaky. If it is shaky, then you really have to start working on that. Okay, that's like the most important part is to have some very strong credit, because your credit is really the determining factor if you're going to get approved for the card or not. And so that's really what you've got to focus on. So I have them all. Let's lower my score. And so let's talk about if you do apply for a credit card, okay? Now, if you want to get approved for a credit card, there's a couple of things that you need to know. Number one, you need to pay down your credit card balances, okay? Number two, you need to apply for a credit card on a desktop computer. Do not apply for a credit card on a mobile phone, okay? 77%, okay, listen, 77% of credit card applications get approved on a desktop versus a mobile device. Okay. So if you're going to apply for a credit card, you're more than likely going to get approved if you apply from a desktop computer versus a mobile device. Okay. Did we get that? How can I think like a bank if I'm ignorant to lending? That's a good question. I'll give you 3 tips. Okay. Banks are looking for 3 things: credit, cash flow, collateral. That's the only thing a bank is looking for. So if you don't have strong cash flow, or if you don't have a lot of cash in the bank, you need to have at least some collateral or some good credit, right? Collaterals like real estate or stocks, bonds, things that you can easily liquidate. And so if you don't have credit, then you need cash flow or collateral. If you don't have credit, then you can have cash flow and collateral. So you can mix and match it, but that's really what a bank is looking for. I have so many relationships with bankers. It's crazy. And what they always tell me is they need 3, at least one of the 3, or if you have all 3, that's even better. So that's how you think like the bank. Thinking like the bank is knowing that they're looking for 3 C's, okay? 3 C's: strong credit, or strong cash flow, or a lot of cash in the bank, or collateral. That's what they're looking for, okay? So just keep that in mind. Now, if you're trying to get approved for the credit card, make sure that you apply for the credit card on a desktop computer. Do not apply for them on a mobile device. I'm not really sure what that is, to be honest. It may be a fraud protected type of thing, perhaps. I'm not really sure, but I'm only assuming that. But just a note that if you do apply on a desktop computer, you're 77% more likely to get approved. Another tip that you need to know is you need to avoid the holidays when you're applying for credit cards. Unless you have perfect credit, unless you have excellent, flawless credit, then it won't really apply. But quite frankly, everybody is shopping for credit around the holidays. Everybody is shopping for credit around the holidays. So if you really want to get more bang, you want to shop for credit cards closer towards the end of the winter, maybe February, March. That's sometimes around a better time to start getting approved for credit cards, or in the summer. Summer's a little iffy simply because most people do their vacationing in the summer. So you kind of want to apply in a good time frame, because timing is everything. Timing is everything. I say this for everything, actually, but it is. Timing is everything, even for your credit card applications. So when you're applying for credit cards, make sure that you're very aware of the time frame that you're applying for the credit cards with, okay? You definitely need to know that. Next thing you need to know is if you are declined for a credit card, that is not end all be all. there are a lot of different reasons why you'll get denied for a credit card. Okay, there's a lot of different reasons why you'll get denied. What I would highly encourage you to do is, if you get denied for a credit card, call the credit card company's reconsideration line. Okay, they have a recon line, and the recon line will give you the ability to call and actually talk to a real person. A lot of the applications that you're going to fill out online, they're more so going to go into what you call like an automatic underwriting, meaning that the computer is going to decide, should I give this card to Melody or should I not give this card to Melody? And so if you call and you talk to a real person, you give them the facts about your income, you give them the facts about what you're using the card for, they're more likely to give you the credit card. Okay, so call the reconsideration line. Now, I'll be honest, I've used this 3 times and it's worked. Okay, I got denied for a credit card 3 times because for some odd reason they couldn't pull my identity. And because they couldn't pull my identity, they denied me for the card. But the thing was, I didn't know that. I actually didn't know that until I called them. And so when I called them, that's when I found out that they denied me for that reason. And so I confirmed my identity. I gave them the information that they needed, and then I got approved. So you can definitely do that. You can call the reconsideration line, tell them what's going on, and in more cases, you're going to get approved. Okay. Do you suggest a recon line for a business card? Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. Because that's actually how I got denied. I got denied for a business credit card. And it was really because they couldn't verify my identity. So I called them and I got it straightened out. But I will always encourage, if you ever get denied, just call the reconsideration line, because it never hurts to try. All they can say is no. That's all they can say. And even after that, you can still apply again at a later time. So I will always suggest call the reconsideration line if you ever get denied. Make sure that you pay down any of your credit card balances currently. Get your credit scores to 720 and above. If you do not have 720 above credit scores and you need some help, that's what we do. We help you with your personal credit. If you want to do it on your own, we teach you how to do it in our university. Okay, our dispute lab will teach you how to clean up your credit reports. You'll also get all of the dispute letters, all the tools and resources that you need to get it done. And so what I'm really trying to help you guys really do, honestly, is I'm trying to help you eliminate any excuses. I'm trying to help you eliminate any obstacles that may be standing in your way, because bad credit is temporary. It does not have to be a forever thing. I had a 545 credit score 4 years ago. 5 years. Man, time flies. 5 years ago, I had a 545 credit score. In 8 months, I raised my credit score to a 764 in 8 months. Okay. And then after that, 2 years later, I got to 850. And so it's really about understanding it is a process. It's definitely a process, but it's not impossible. It's just that you have to have the right strategies. You have to have the right tools. You have to have the right resources in order for you to get it done. And so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to help you get it done, right? Because who here wants to travel for free? Who here? Let me see some hands in the air. Who wants to travel for free? Who wants to enjoy their life on somebody else's dime? And do it legitimately on top of that. It's not illegal to do any of this. It's not illegal to do any of it. And so if you really want to get more of your credit cards, right? If you really want to get more out of it, then it's really about understanding what cards are out there and what are available. Now, this is something that you need to know. There are several different types of credit cards out here. You've got cashback reward cards. You've got travel point cards. You've just got so many different cards. And so you've got to determine what's your end goal, right? What do you truly want to do? Do you want to travel the world? I'll see some hands in the air. Yes, I want to travel the world. Well, what you need to start doing is researching some of the better travel credit cards. Now, granted, a lot of these major airlines have credit cards. Okay, they do have them. I personally love my Chase Freedom card and my Capital One Venture One. My Capital One Venture One is like my baby, honestly, because you get a lot of points. So the way the Capital One Venture works is when you first open up the card, okay, if you spend $1,000 on that card within 3 months, you get 20,000 bonus miles, okay? Now, you might be wondering, like, 20,000 miles, like, what is that? So the way it works is when you use the credit card, the money that you use will be transferred into points. So 20,000 points is really $200. Yeah, it's $200 because you have to remove the decimal over. It's a 100 type of deal. It's you got to divide it by 100 basically by $1. And so 20,000 points is 20,000 points is $200 in travel. That's how it works. And so what I highly encourage anybody to do is if you have a travel card or even a cashback card, because some cashback cards you can transfer into points, which is why I love my Chase Freedom card. My Chase Freedom card is awesome too, because I use that for everything also, and I transfer my cash back into points, and then I can take free trips from there. But the way it works is you really have to understand what your end goal is. All right, what type of car you actually want, and just scout out where are the points. Where are the rewards? Can you do $1,000 in charges in 3 months? Most people can, especially if you charge all of your bills on it, right? I use my card. I basically use my credit cards like a checking account. And for some people, this may not be a reasonable thing to do right now if you're not very comfortable with credit cards right now. But once you get really comfortable with your credit cards, using it, paying off, using it, paying off, then you can use it like a checking account. And that's what I do. And the reason why I mostly do that is for the protection as well. And so if anybody ever gets a hold of my credit cards and fraudulently charges it, then I don't lose my cash that's in my bank, right? The credit card company, they're the ones that's losing their money. So I can always call and say, hey, I don't recognize this charge. I don't know what's going on. Can you open up a dispute for me? They're more than likely going to do it because it's their money. Right? It's their money. And so they're more than likely going to give you your money back because of that. So you get added protection, added bonuses. You get a lot of added rewards, honestly, when you use your credit cards versus using a debit card. I actually talked about this in a webinar previously, the difference between credit and debit, credit versus debit. A lot of people don't really understand the differences between the two, but there are massive differences between using your credit card and using a debit card. And so I use my credit cards like a checking account. I pay all of my bills, including my mortgage, on my credit cards. Now, most people will tell you you can't pay a mortgage on your credit card, but you can. You can use a service called Plastiq, okay? PLA. It's actually like plastic, but Q on the end instead. So Plastiq.com will help you with that. You can charge anything on your credit cards using Plastiq, and you can rack up points that way. Okay, you can rack up points that way. And so that's really the strategy that I would highly encourage you guys to do. Okay, highly encourage you guys to do, because travel rewards, travel cards, they're the best thing that ever happened to me. Me and my kids went out to Orlando actually in June, like 2 months ago. Yeah, we went to Orlando in June, and everything was paid for. Hotel was paid for. Flights were paid for. Me and my 2 children paid for by my credit card company. And so your credit card company will definitely pay for it. There's nothing illegal about it. There's nothing illegal about using your credit cards to rack up points and use them. That's what they're there for. It's just that most people don't use them in a proper way. And so if you're going to get a travel card, here's some things that I do suggest, okay? Take advantage of the intro bonus. There are introductory bonuses that they give you. Now, the introductory bonuses are one of those terms and conditions where if you spend $1,000 in 3 months, you get 20,000 points. When you spend 3,000, you get 50,000 points. And so understand what the introductory offer is first, right? Understand what it is first. And then once you understand what that is, then you can plan out how you're going to use the card. Don't just apply for it and let it sit in your wallet. Apply for it and actually use it so that you can get those points, get those rewards, and start actually having some fun. That's right, Brenda. Plastiq. That's right. That's exactly how you spell it. Plastiq.com. And you can use your credit card for anything and rack up points that way. Now, the only thing that I think it does not work with, however, is American Express. I believe I tried using it with my American Express card once, and I believe it didn't work. or it may have just been the creditor. Either or, you can still use it to rack up some points, and you'll definitely get a lot of great rewards. Okay, definitely get a lot of great rewards. Now, does anybody have any questions, right? Because those are really the 6 tips that I wanted to give you all to help you with getting approved for your first travel card or first cashback card. Okay, I will highly suggest get some of the beginner cards. Okay, make sure you get a card that doesn't have an annual fee, because some people, what they would suggest is you get these cards, you use it for the points, and you close them out. And that's really not a good long-term plan for your credit. So I don't suggest it. I just suggest getting cards, maxing out the introductory offer, and then just keep using it and keep building credit, building and establishing more credit from there. And so let me see if you guys got some questions. Let me see if you guys got some questions. Let me know. Now, Experian Boost, does it work? Experian Boost does work. So if anybody doesn't know what Experian Boost is a way for you to add some of your accounts on your credit that you're already paying. So if you have a light bill or a gas bill or a water bill, utilities, more than likely those payments are not being reported on your credit right now. And so if you can get those payments reported on your credit, that will be helpful for your credit scores. And you can do that through Experian Boost. Now, Experian Boost, I believe, only works with Experian. So it will only report on your Experian credit reports, but it will still at least raise your credit scores. Another way for you to rapidly raise your credit scores and get approved for higher lines of credit is using authorized trade lines. And so what authorized trade lines are is it's a way for you to piggyback off of somebody else's established credit. So let's say that you have, your mom that has a credit card that has a $10,000 limit. It's been open for 10 years. It's never been paid late. It's not maxed out. Well, your mom can add you to that card as an authorized user. And then that payment history, that credit history, everything will then report on your credit and boost your credit scores. Now, I understand a lot of people may not have somebody that can help them with that, but we do offer that as a service. So if you do need that type of help, we do have trade lines in-house, very reasonably priced, and they work. So if there's something that if you guys do want to do, you can take that option. There's a lot of different ways for you to rapidly boost your credit score. But the main thing is if you have anything negative on your credit, that cannot exist. It just can't. It can't exist. You got to get it deleted. You got to get it deleted off your credit. So if you got bankruptcy, repossessions, late payments, collection accounts, that stuff does have to go. It can't exist on your credit reports if you're trying to get these types of credit cards. It's just not going to work that way. I wish it did, but it just doesn't. So you can use Experian Boost. I've been receiving offers for Discover Card, but it has a wrong middle initial. How do I correct that? That's a good question. I'm not really sure why that may be happening, other than they may have your information wrong in the system. You can call them directly, and they can and the credit bureaus can fix that for you, because either it's a typo on Discover Card end, or it's a typo on your credit reports. Either way, you can call the credit bureau and they can get that straightened out for you. Ava, I am at 680, got denied for an Amex. Should I bother calling them? The reason, because of revolving credit limits is too high. Yeah, in that case, then you do have to pay your credit cards down before you apply for it again. That's honestly a main reason why most people get denied for credit cards. It's because their current credit card utilization is too high. So most credit card companies really don't want to approve somebody for credit cards if they have utilization of credit cards over 30% or more. So if you have a credit card with $1,000 limit and you're currently $10,000 limit and you're currently carrying a balance of $3,000 or more, you're currently using 30% or more utilization on the card. So you have to bring that utilization down. You have to pay your credit cards down first. You have to do that if you want to get approved for these types of cards. I also just suggest we have a database. It's so hard. So we have a database in our 850 blueprint that can give you more insight on this, because you really want to do more research on what credit cards, what credit bureaus or credit card companies are going to apply for. And so if you don't know that, then you're kind of flying in the dark. And so we actually have a database that helps with that. So if you're trying to figure out, well, which credit card company will Discover pull, or which one will Amex pull, or Barclays or Navy Federal, then in order for you to know that, we created a database and we put the database in there to to help so that you can streamline that. Ava says, I'm never late on any payments. Yeah, it really doesn't matter if you've never been late, because there's a lot of people that max out their credit cards, but they're not late on payments. So it's a red flag to banks when you're utilizing a lot of credit. So, just kind of keep that in mind. When you're using a lot of credit, banks see you as being overextended. That's how they see it. So pay those credit cards down and you'll be good to go. Can you get late payments removed if it's been there for 5 years? I mean, you probably could, but it really wouldn't be worth it, to be honest. After about 2 years or so, they no longer really affect your credit scores. So 5 years, you're good there. You can get approved for some good credit cards. Good evening. Hey, Thomas, how's it going? Hey, Melody. Once